That's one way of looking at it. I think another way of looking at it would be, you did it for you. You wanted to hear your own voice. What do you call that? A pipe bomb? Well, what happens if a pipe bomb goes off and no one's there to hear it? Does it make a noise? Answer is no, it doesn't. So you needed this platform. You needed the WWE Universe, because without the WWE, your pipe bomb and you really mean nothing.
Who was supposedly a superstar, who was never held to superstar standards. Now he on a team that always hold their big name players to superstar standards. Now he feel like it's him against the world, when I don't feel, mind you, I don't, notice I'm defending the fans right now. Obviously, I don't agree when fans was like chanting shit at him at LA games and shit like that. Obviously, I'm never gonna like I keep telling you, I'm never gonna get to that point where I'm, going at it with my own players on my team. Like, come on, man, that's just wild. But because y'all did nothing to help this man throughout the season turn his bad play around. I just want y'all to know that. Like, cheering for him and rooting for him and still having his back throughout this year, I promise you he would have played way better. And if not, he would have been way... I promise you shit would have been different if you had treated him different. I walk for miles inside this pit of danger. Yo, what's good with it, yo? Yo, dead ass, my throat kind of hurt tonight. No cap, man. I haven't been properly hydrating today, yo. Been working all day, but no hydration. My lazy ass. Excuse me. I gotta stop drinking hot drinks. What's up with it? It's a WrestleMania 38 full review, both shows. But listen, before we get into the WrestleMania breakdown, and I know it's been a while. WrestleMania was like 2 weeks ago. Don't give a fuck. We still breaking that bit down. Before I get into that, yo, I just was on Twitter, and I'm telling you, Twitter is like the fucking darnest place. I was just on Twitter and just scrolling. You know how I do, scrolling. Phillies lost, not happy about that. Scrolling, you know. And then I happened to come across this tweet where it's like Mano says he like being when he like role playing with white women and acting like a slave. And I'm like, yo, what? Like, yo, I'm starting to think, man, you know what I don't understand? These dudes be rich, man. And it ain't just dudes, celebrity women, celebrity men, celebrities. These motherfuckers be rich and still do stupid shit that broke people, or say stupid shit that broke people say to get clout. Like, I don't understand how you can be a clout chaser and be rich. Like, what purpose did it serve you to say that stupid shit? Like, I'm telling you, bro. On a daily basis, I lose more and more respect for these goofballs. But either way... Oh! Finally! Yo, I was looking at... I'm not even finna lie like that. I saw a clip of the Young Rock on Twitter, where it was basically brought in Joe, a.k.a. our tribal chief, Roman Reigns. I've been telling y'all this, like, for the longest now. The Rock v Roman Reigns is happening at WrestleMania, bro. Like, I don't get... It's no fucking way The Rock just saw Stone Cold what he just did these past two nights at WrestleMania, or the 2 nights at WrestleMania, and he ain't gonna come out here and have this fight. Bro, it makes sense. I done heard The Rock say before, I think if it makes sense, he come back. Listen, it make all the sense in the world for The Rock to be the dude that is the final boss for Roman Reigns, whether it be beating Roman or losing to The Rock. I don't give a fuck. You can carry that rivalry on for 2 years if you want to. Could care less. As a matter of fact, I would love to see The Rock beat Roman, and then you go a full year seeing how Roman, like, basically the new storyline is Roman done lost his crown and whatever. And so now he taking it out on everybody. Like, he about to become a vicious tribal chief again. Like, a tribal chief who done lost his crown jewel is a tribal chief who done lost his fucking mind, basically. Nobody's safe. Like, I want to see that Roman Reigns come out again. Like, listen, Roman Reigns, his character right now, absolutely flawless. Listen, he know when to be mad. Everything about him is flawless. He a heel who don't have to yell and scream and shit all the time. But I would like to see, and he don't have to, beat the shit out of somebody for a long time just to, like he don't have to do, how some heels got to get their heat off of like beating the shit out of people after the match or blindsiding them and shit like that. Roman don't necessarily have to do that. He can if he want to, but anything is liable for him. Like he can do literally anything because of how great his character is. And so you're not fucking telling me that The Rock is not the final boss for Roman Reigns. And listen, it's a fucking shame right now because I didn't really think about this, but I am now. It's not anybody in the WWE right now who is fit enough to me to beat Roman Reigns. It just is what it is. And I'm not one of the people who mad about something like this. This man deserves to be the champion. And when it's somebody who come along that deserve to beat him, we will know. And if y'all don't, I trust me, I will know when it's a legitimate opponent who could beat him. Listen, I told you, as much as I love Brock Lesnar and as big as Brock Lesnar feel against everybody else, he no longer felt bigger than Roman Reigns. This is what Vince and the WWE creative and everybody was trying to get for the longest. To have Roman Reigns feel like a bigger deal, a bigger threat, a bigger draw than Brock Lesnar. And he finally felt like a bigger draw, a bigger threat, a bigger box office seller than Brock Lesnar. Now you gotta find who you can build. Cause listen, it ain't gonna be Drew. I can see him feuding with Drew down the line, but Drew ain't the guy that's gonna beat him. For one, I think Drew's mic work is just so garbage as a heel right now. I mean, as a face. But Bobby Lashley is being turned into a face, and so a baby face. And I read a report like he the number one baby face on the Raw roster. At least out of all the males, because obviously Bianca is the biggest face on either roster. But they really gonna have to book Bobby great in order for this shit to work. Because I really didn't want to see him turn face. But I did say before that, like, in order to morph Bobby into the megastar that he can be, you would probably have to separate him away from MVP the way you had to separate him away from the Hurt Business. Even though I wasn't a fan of breaking up the Hurt Business, I understood that when you have a guy like a Bobby Lashley or Roman Reigns, you can't hold them down in a faction for too long. Like, you're not gonna hold Roman down in the Shield for too long. You're not gonna hold Bobby Lashley. That's Hurt Business and the Shield serve their purposes. And so now Roman Reigns, he's not really in a faction. He is the leader of the bloodline, and for one, they actually are blood, so that brings a whole new thing to it. But this don't feel like a faction or a tag team as much as this. This just feel different, to be completely honest with you, when you're dealing with Roman Reigns and his and Jay and Jimmy and Paul Heyman. Like, this feels so much. And Paul Heyman, like I said, doesn't feel like Roman's manager. It don't feel like his mouthpiece or nothing like that. Like, it's very weird how they done. Like, this is so crazy how Roman and these dudes how they done changed the whole feel of this. Because usually a megastar like Roman, you wouldn't want him held. Because, like, usually if you see Paul is with Brock and Brock not really talking. But now Brock done even got to a point where he done outgrown previous Brocks. And he don't need Paul. So it's real dope to see how neither one of them necessarily need Paul. But I feel like this whole feud was like a love letter to Paul and their appreciation for everything he done for them over their careers and whatnot. And Paul just played his role so unbelievably well. Like, I don't think people give Paul enough. Well, a lot of people give Paul Heyman a ton of credit. But one of the things that I haven't really heard people talk about too much is how he done changed his whole feel. Like, when you saw Paul Heyman before as the advocate to Brock Lesnar, he felt like one of the dominating factors in that thing. Like, when you saw Paul Heyman, boom, you instantly, obviously you don't boo Paul Heyman when he walk out, but it's boos, the heel boos that he get and whatnot. He felt big, right? With Roman, he don't feel like as big as he was with Brock, but he also don't feel small. He feel like he fit in perfect to what his role is. Now, it's weird to put it in words, really, But shout out to Paul Heyman. But WrestleMania 38, I think this was one of the best WrestleManias I've ever seen. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. This from both nights had me on my fucking to like. I enjoyed thoroughly both nights. High as a motherfucker, past God up there. Waved at him when I was still floating. But unbelievable fucking 2 nights of WrestleMania. Probably my favorite WrestleMania. I don't know if it's, I gotta go back and look at a couple of my other ones, favorite ones, but this is definitely in my top 5. WWE knocked it out of the fucking park. Bro, I appreciate all the wrestlers, all the people who worked on the sets, all the people who worked on the outfits, the attires, the designs, Vince, Triple H, everybody who had anything to do with it, the fans, the commentary, the ring technicians, the refs, every fucking person, anybody who had anything to do with WrestleMania 38 being the fucking spectacular event that it was. I just appreciate them so much. And it's so crazy because I said this before on a previous episode, but I was not a fan of the 2-night thing at first, because I was like, yo, they're going to use 2 nights, and they probably going to listen to all these fans that be bitching, because the fans that come from what culture, who listen to everything, whatever what culture say is the gospel to them. So when people on what culture get on there and say, oh, the nights, the show too long, we don't want to be up this late at night. Well, motherfucker, you speaking for yourself, but because you got a lot of clowns in the comments and shit who just blindly follow these motherfuckers, of course they're gonna get on and say, oh, you know what, the shows are too long. So I didn't want WWE to end up basically giving us 2 nights of a SmackDown hour, or Raw, even a 3-hour, 2-hour show. I didn't want that. I wanted these shits to feel like pay-per-views, and WrestleMania still needed to feel like WrestleMania. Like, I really do get kind of irritated with people who be like, oh man, it just felt like some of these things went on, and the show could have been cut right here or there to make you like, yo, just appreciate what you was watching, and if you feel like it's getting long, turn away. Get up and go do something. Nobody is forcing you to sit there and watch this show or this event for the entirety of the event. Now, listen, personally to me, when I'm watching WrestleMania, I am into that shit. Like, I am a wrestling fan. I am not thinking about, oh man, like I'll hold my piss until it's a appropriate break enough. Or I just switch it on to my phone and go watch it while I'm taking that leak. Like, I will never complain about it. The only time I'll complain about WrestleMania is when it's too short. I feel like the first night, what I wanted was for the first night to be like 4, 5, 6 hours long. The second night, 5, 6, 7 hours long. Just like, I didn't mean to say 4. I wanted that shit to be at a minimum 5 hours. I'll even take 4.5 hours. But I wanted those both nights to be long as shit. And I got my wish. Like, both nights was long. Neither one of them felt exhausting to me. Like, I wasn't exhausted after either one of them. Like, I was exhausted after the weekend, but it wasn't like a bad exhaustion. Like, oh man, these shows should have been shorter. They wore me out. No. It's one of those good exhaustions. Like, man, we just had a fucking ball of a weekend and I'm tired now. Like, I got to recoup a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, I love the 2-night event of WrestleMania. Now I hope that they always do 2 nights and have them packed like they did these last 2 nights. Like, this shit to me was unbelievable. Like, I have no complaints, but we do gotta get into these matches though. So I already done a breakdown for the first night, right? Now I am gonna probably go back over some of the shit that happened on the first night if I can find the first night card, because I'm not finna be sitting here just trying to guess all the fucking fights that happened on night 1. That's not gonna happen. Y'all motherfuckers might be out of luck. Maybe I'll think of, maybe I'll remember. Either way, the first, actually, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I cannot remember. The WrestleMania with 38 was like 2 weeks ago. I do not remember the order of the matches. I do remember the last couple matches order, but the beginning of the show, listen, forgive me if I get some of the matches out of order. Either way, night 2. I don't think they started off with the women's tag team match. I think night 2 started off with the men's tag team match. RK Bro, Street Profits, Alpha Academy. Now, I said on the fucking preview that I thought this would be where where the Street Profits turn heel. I was so very fucking clearly wrong. Fucking very clearly wrong. They did not turn heel. Randy Orton and Riddle got the win in this match. If anything, after this match, I mean, the Street Profits solidified that they wasn't turning heel, basically, with they after the match babyface antics. But I just thought that building to this match, I thought, like, I never had, and maybe that's a good thing, I never had a feel for who was going to win this match because they was playing hot potato with the titles before WrestleMania came around. But I just felt like from what I was getting from the rivalry, I kind of felt like maybe this is about to be a way to push the Street Profits and whatnot, because I do feel like they done started to lose a little bit of fire since the beginning, since they first came. Because when they first came to the main rosters, they was on like a 2-year run where they was just hot. Everything, and I still think they're a hot tag team. I just think it's time to evolve now as the Street Profits. Like, you want to know what's funny? These motherfuckers is the Street Profits, but I've never heard them spit a prophecy or nothing like that. Like, can we start getting some Street Prophecies or something like that? Can we make the name make sense or something? Can we evolve the Street Profits now? We know that a red cup and, you know, no, we got to get past that now. They've been doing that same fucking gimmick for like 2, 3, 4 years now. No, it's time to evolve past these red cups and all this bullshit. It is time, if the Street Profits want to remain, because the Street Profits should be having one-on-one tag team matches at WrestleMania for titles against the Usos or the New Day. They shouldn't be in this type of match where you're not winning. You're just here for the, and I don't want to say it's like this, but they were basically the part of the because of how great Montez Ford is and how crazy athletic he is. I don't want to say they was here to take the L, but they was here just for entertainment value because they upped the entertainment value. And I know that the Street Profits are a great tag team, and I know they can wrestle in the ring, they can go, but they haven't been in a spot where, like, they have been in big spots in the past, but they've not been in a relevant or a big enough spot, in my opinion, because they just shared the spotlight with 2 other tag teams just now. And I feel like they are a team that's good enough to where you're not sharing the spotlight with 3 teams. You good enough to just have a one-on-one or a tag team v tag team match, whatever the stipulations are, and bring down the house like if it was New Day taking on the Usos. Like, I know that the Street Profits are capable of that type of match. I just think it's time to evolve the gimmick. I don't think that it's the Street Profits that's stopping them from getting to. I think it's the evolution of the Street Profits that hasn't happened that's stopping them. Like, you got a perfect example, the Usos. They no longer do the splashes. They now use a different finisher, a more fitting finisher for a heel tag team. Because for one, I never think heels should be doing their heels should never have a top rope finisher. I really kind of think that's goofy. Like, it was cool back when John Morrison was a heel and he had the Starship Pain. Even Neville having that red arrow or whatever the fuck it was called off of the top rope for a while was straight. But I think even Neville, I know his name is Pac in his new other promotions, but even he changed his finisher to a grounded finisher that wasn't a top rope finisher, I believe. So I'm really not fans of heels having top rope finishers. So I'm glad that the Usos basically have the 3D and they call it the 1D, the day one, or the D1. Day one. I like that, and it's obviously a tribute to, Team 3D. But I just think that and look at the New Day and the Usos and how they evolved over time. Like, they perfect examples because they wasn't teams that was always rooted for. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Shield, for the most part, was always rooted for. They never had a situation where the fans was really booing them. Like, when they was heels, they was getting proper reactions, and when they was faces, they was getting proper reactions. The New Day and the Usos had to find themselves at points in times in their career. Like, they had to actually figure this shit out to get reactions out of the crowd. Like, I still remember when they had the New Day at, like, they was 3 gospel preachers or some shit like that. And they came out on an episode of Monday Night Raw once, And the crowd had absolutely no fucking reaction. No reaction. And they knew who Big E was at the time. They knew who Kofi Kingston was. And some people might not have known who Xavier Woods was at the time because he wasn't as big at the time as he is now. Obviously, the dude is a fucking megastar now. But I remember that night, and they had on the blue attire and shit before that gear was really creative. And them motherfuckers got no reaction. I remember when the Usos had to wear the face paint and all that shit and the ugly ass little tribal shorts. And I remember when they rarely got reactions, or when they got reactions, it was fading reactions. Sometimes they got it, sometimes they didn't. Now, obviously, everybody's going to get a great reaction when you're throwing on good matches. And I think that's one of the things that started to make the New Day and the Usos great. They started just putting on fucking bangers. And then the more and more they grew on the mic, like you could see how all these dudes from the Usos and the New Day done grown on the mic. Like, just their characters, the evolution of the New Day and the Usos is something that they should do a documentary on. Dead ass. The WWE need to do a documentary on the Usos and the New Day. And I'm talking about not separate documentaries. They need to do a documentary on both of those two tag teams because they are the best two tag teams of my generation, personally. And I really don't know what you would call my generation when I think about it, because I done seen wrestling for a long time. But just, to me, out of all the tag teams I've ever watched, New Day and the Usos are unbelievable. Like, they are the two greatest tag teams in my mind. And I feel like that because they had so many bangers together, bro. I feel like they should have a documentary together. Like, I would watch the fuck out of that documentary, dead ass. Like, shit, I want to see a Jordan documentary part 2. I just don't think none of them shits would be as epic as the first one. But I would love to see a documentary for the Usos and the New Day. Like, if you just go back and watch the beginning of these two tag teams and watch just through their journey, how they had to grind, how they had to keep reinventing themselves, evolving their characters and their gimmicks and whatnot to become what some people forget that the New Day used to be heel for a point in time when they started to finally get over and whatnot with the trombone and shit like that. Like, the New Day found so many ways to get over, as did the Usos. And at a certain point in time, it felt like they started to push each other and grow together. Like, they was determined to become legendary, and they would not take no for an answer. And that's why I never complained during that run of them becoming the greatest tag teams ever. I never complained. It was like, oh, you should break them up or nothing like that. Oh, they're getting stale. Because there was a point where ungrateful fans were starting to say, oh, they keep putting the tag teams on the New Day and the Usos. And I'm like, well, the tag team's only relevant when it's on those two. Everybody else are hot before they get the championships. They get it, and then they no longer have that same enthusiasm. Stories, and they no longer approach stories with the same type of desire and thrill and energy as they did when they were chasing those titles. Whereas the New Day and the Usos always make those titles feel great. They always make those titles feel big. That's why you put the titles on those two teams for so long. So I really would like to see a documentary on these two teams, on these two tag teams, or tag team for the Usos and the trio stable for the New Day. But the tag team match was a good match. Like I said, Usos, Matt Riddle jumped up on the top, like Montez Ford towards the end of this match, he was on the top rope like he was finna do a frog splash, and Riddle jumped up on the top, like on the middle rope, and hit him with an RKO. Like, that was the big spot in this match. And then Randy hit somebody else with an RKO and pinned him. Chad Gable, he hit Chad Gable with an RKO and pinned him to get the win. Okay, listen, it was a big moment at Mania, and I'm not mad at it, but Riddle done hit that goddamn RKO so many times. Like, come on, bruh. Like, it was cool at first. The first couple times it was straight. Now I am kind of like, okay, bro, that's Randy shit. Can we stop having Matt Riddle perform the fucking RKO? I'm kind of the same way with the pedigree for Seth Rollins, because I just don't like seeing a pedigree be performed by somebody not Triple H, especially when a 1, 2, 3 is not coming at the end of the pedigree. He still got like 15 fucking minutes left in a fight after he done hit a pedigree. Like, I'm not feeling that. People doing the sweet chin music, or we basically calling it super kicks now, because people use and abuse that move so much, we had to switch the shit. We had to separate them. Okay, you got the sweet chin music and you got the super kick. Because motherfuckers is doing that super kick so much, it was killing Shawn Michaels' shit. I'm not hating on Matt Riddle because I like Matt Riddle. And like I said, the first couple times he did it, it was cool. The second, third, fourth time, yeah, cool. It's straight. Now, all right, my boy. You have your own finisher, which is not that bad of a finisher. Please stop fucking performing the RKO and let Randy get his shit back. And Randy, I know you like Riddle. Probably love him. Please stop letting him do that shit, bruh. Like, that is your shit. They is watering down your shit now. Like, that's where I'm getting to with the RKO at this point. Like, it's starting to get... It's no longer... Like, obviously, the RKO is a legendary finisher. One of the greatest finishers of all time. Can't take nothing away from it. But come on, man. Now Randy is not... And also, what I would like to see is the fucking RKO stop being so telegraphed throughout matches. Like, because it's almost as if we know exactly when it's coming now. Like, it's no surprise to us anymore. Like, the Riddle one was a surprise on Ford, but like I said, as dope as that was, after this, I would prefer to see only Randy hit that shit. I wouldn't even mind if we don't see Randy hit that shit in a while, but now, I think I done got to a point where we don't need to see the RKO every single fucking time Randy Orton is on the screen. Because now I feel like that's a finisher that's being overused at this point. Like, to me, the RKO has 1,000% lost his, is thrill. But maybe I'm wrong, you know. I could just be talking shit right now. I could sound stupid right now, so who knows. But the next match was Johnny Knoxville, Sami Zayn. This was a wild match, and I felt like, I don't know what the fuck was gonna happen in this match, but I had a feeling the cast of Jackass or Johnny Knoxville's crew was gonna show up, and they did. You had a wee man, you had some grown-ass man in a diaper. Sami should have put that motherfucker to sleep. It was just about every single fucking thing you can ask for in a match. Now, granted, remember, because I forgot to say this in the beginning, I'm not finna say spoiler alert. Like, come on, man, the name of the fucking video is WrestleMania 38 Breakdown. Plus, it's been 2 weeks. Like, I watch Raw and SmackDown. I see them showing y'all motherfuckers the highlights. But, listen, I said that Johnny Knoxville could possibly win this match, and it wouldn't hurt Sami because he the type of person who this match him losing this wouldn't matter, and this is probably, you know, a dream of his to fight against Johnny Knoxville and have this type of match with Johnny Knoxville. I said all that type of shit, and this was a great match. Like I said, I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen, and a whole bunch of wild shit happened. Johnny Knoxville. Oh yeah, also, because I got sidetracked. Because I also didn't mention this before the thing. Also, along with the spoiler, another thing that I didn't mention, but I do say this: I'm not breaking down the match like move for move and how. No. Because I'm giving you a recap, and I'm basically telling you the winners, and I'm telling you, you know, the gist of the match and some of the big spots in the match. But I'm not going to walk you through the entirety of the match. I still want you to go watch the show yourself. Even though I'm the type of person who likes shit being spoiled for me, you can spoil the outcome for me, and I'm cool. I prefer you do that. You can even spoil parts of the movie that let me know how good or bad the movie might be. But don't break down every single little detail. Like, you know, it's certain details that you don't have to bring up that is very vital to the movie that you could leave a secret for me and still spoil the movie for me without telling me that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is a very... I think that's understandable. But either way, this Johnny Knoxville Sami Zayn match was a fun match. And every WrestleMania you have a fun match. It's just whether or not the fun match delivered. I think last year was Bad Bunny, but this year it delivered again. And it was a bunch of shenanigans. And I was seeing grown men on Twitter saying this was one of the funnest matches they've ever seen. So it did its job. Like, I had no problems with this match. I was entertained. Fans was entertained. And it's exactly what I thought it was. Now, when this motherfucker pulled out that giant rat trap, and it didn't go off the first time, which I just want to tell you how cynical a person I am. I said to myself, watch this motherfucking rat trap not go off the first time. And it didn't. And I was disappointed when it didn't the first time, because I was like, wow, that was such a fucking bummer. I wish that, like, I felt bad for them, because I want WWE and everybody in there to be successful. I wanted that shit to go off perfectly. But as is life, nothing goes off perfectly. It's all about how you react to it. And hey, shout out to this psychopath Johnny Knoxville for putting his head right into the fire to be able to extinguish it. And he, the rap trap went snap, snap, and he got the 1, 2, 3 on Sami Zayn. To me, that had to be, like I said, that had to be an absolute dream for Sami Zayn. Like I said, people, you got these fans who always come out like, oh man, Johnny Knoxville taking a spot from a more deserving wrestler. Ah, shut the fuck up. But after that match, though, we had Lashley taking on Omas. Now, I said, like in my prediction video, it's no fucking way Omas is winning this match. Like, I can see Omas looking dominant through this match, even though I'm just based off of them turning Lashley face, I'm not cool with Lashley being dominated throughout his matches with Omas. If you want to build Lashley to be somebody who can believably beat Roman Reigns, and who is a, top-notch babyface, you do not have to book him to get his ass whooped in matches. He can still be booked as a dominant wrestler. I want to see him dominate Omas to reaffirm that he is the Almighty, to reaffirm he is a top threat in the WWE. Even as a babyface, he still will whoop your ass. I have no desire to see Omas beat the hell out of Lashley for 5-10 minutes and then have Lashley win in the end because Omas do some goofball shit. I have no desire to see that. Now, Lashley won at Mania, but Omas had this little spot where he picked Lashley up and ran him into the turnbuckle, and Lashley's head snapped all the way back and popped the little LED post. That shit was crazy. But back to what I was saying. I just wanted to give y'all one of the moments from the match and know that Lashley won the match. But this match also involved fucking Omas basically, dominating for the majority of the match. I don't think you still have to, well, it's not, I don't think, I know. You don't have to build faces like that no more, especially after Lashley just was dominating the way he was. And I understand people saying, well, that's Omas, it's a big motherfucker. Yeah, I get that. But it will do more for Omas. I mean, Omas is not in a position right now where he is about to be shot to the moon or something. It would make no sense. Like, Omas is not ready to be a top dude or even a USA champion right now. Now, I think MVP will work wonders for him, but I think the first year of this marriage between him and MVP, you got to get that off the ground first. It's a great rivalry to start him off with Lashley, but Lashley should dominate him. Like, straight up. I would even be okay with, like, him winning one of these matches with MVP, doing something cheap. But at the end of the day, Lashley got to dominate him to come out of this rivalry looking like it's still the almighty champion. I don't feel like his booking should change just because you done changed him from a heel to a face, which was one of the problems I had when I thought they were starting to turn Lashley face, because I had started to feel like they was turning him face for a minute now. And it just happened because fans won't stop cheering for this motherfucker. Like, I really wish fans had kept booing him. But naturally, once you Lashley and you've been on Raw for a good minute and you one of the better acts on Raw, and you clearly feel like people watch you and they feel like you committed to this, you love this, and you constantly getting better and they growing as you growing on the, like, obviously people eventually just start to give you respect and cheer for you. But in that same light, I wish fans would stop being so fucking stupid, knowing you can cheer for this man and still know that, okay, I got to boo for him because he a heel. You know what I'm saying? So, and I guess it mean more when people love you so much that they could give two fucks that you a heel. They just gonna cheer for you anyways. But I just feel like, because Lashley was getting cheered so fucking much over the last couple months, they was turning the man heel. I mean, face regardless. Like, it didn't matter. And what's crazy is they could have really dove really deeper into his heel persona when Brock Lesnar was calling him Bobby Who, and the crowd was chanting that. Like, they could have built off of that. Instead, they kind of was sloppy with that because that was still just a sidebar to get the Roman Reigns Brock, which I never agree with putting one of your top guys in a sidebar type of situation like that, because that do sometimes diminish him or her based off of how that rivalry end up. But as good as Omas might be down the road, right now, you need a top babyface that can beat Roman Reigns if The Rock don't do it at no point in time. If those plans fall apart, I guess. Bobby Lashley is a dude who can. Now, granted, when Big E come back, he will be as big a babyface as probably anybody in the business. So that would be a phenomenal time to take the title off of Roman if it haven't been taken off of him at that point in time. But Bobby Lashley, if built properly, could be believable as to challenging Roman. Because some of the challenges that Roman might get coming up, like Shinsuke Nakamura, you know he ain't losing to Shinsuke. Which I do want to say, it was funny that he said, let me give you some of this bloodline love. And then step back and let him get super kicked. That was hilarious. But the Omas and... Oh, yo, how could I forget? We got to talk about the fits. The tags. Yo, I said Randy wasn't gonna wear black tights. The black booty shorts they be wearing, wrestlers be wearing. I can't remember what they called it at the moment. But Randy did wear black ones, so yeah, there went that. The fucking outfits for the Street Profits was fire. They had on the gold and red. Those shits was fire, but they ended up being topped by somebody else later on. Sami Zayn's outfit is trash also. I just want to throw that out there. I've been thinking that for a minute, that Sami Zayn's like fit is real garbage. Like he could spiffy that up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't garbage in the sense that, oh, it look bad. It's garbage in the sense that it looks bad and I don't like it. Whereas Sheamus's gear, it ain't nothing fancy about that, but it makes sense and I like that. That's real spiffy, as my cousin Tink would say. But after that match, I believe we got the women's tag team match. Sasha, Naomi, Queen Zelina and Carmella, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, Shayna and Natty. I knew Naomi and Sasha wasn't going to wear the same gear. I said they wasn't going to wear the same gear. Really wasn't feeling Naomi's gear too much. I felt like that was a regular SmackDown episode gear for her. Sasha's was fire. I saw Sasha with this dress, this sparkly ass dress in a picture. That shit was thunder. But I liked Rhea Ripley's fit and Natalia's fit too. Rhea Ripley, to me, don't get enough credit for how she step up her fit game at these pay-per-views. And I'm pretty sure I done said that before, but I'm just reiterating that Rhea Ripley does not get not Rhea Ripley, Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler does not get nearly enough credit for how fire her fits are at these events. Like, I love that purple and black, yo. Loved it. Like, yo, give Shayna some credit. Now, I'm also a big Shayna fan, so just throwing it out there. But this was a good match. This was a good match. Now, I will say this was not and I don't want to, every match I'm just going to go ahead and say was good to me. So when I critique or say something that might be, looked at as critical, I'm not really, don't think of it as that way. It's just a little small critiques, you know what I'm saying? My one critique with this match, if it is even could be considered a critique, this wasn't one of the better tag team matches I've seen. For one, I don't like the format of how it was. I just feel like it was a better match that could have been had with different stipulations in place. And you could have still got to the outcome that you got to. Because I agree with the outcome. Like I said, I'm not even mad at the match. I just know there was a better match that could have been had than the match that was had. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was so very clear to me that there was a better match that could have been had. Now, granted, Sasha and Naomi's finisher is fucking fire. But that was the right decision, to put the titles on both of them. Like, they immediately make those titles feel bigger. They immediately, because of who they are, because of what they've accomplished. You have to keep those titles on them for a year. And you also have to start putting them in great feuds. Now, one of the hard things and one of the things that I hope Sasha and Naomi can do is make those titles feel great even when they don't have the best to work with. Because it's going to be storylines and feuds down the line that just really don't make too much sense, and they won't get too much out of opposing teams. Because as great as Sasha and Naomi are, they only going to be able to play the New Day and Uso role for so long. They're going to need a partner to dance with. They can only be as great as some of the rivalries that they have. And they have to end up having a big rivalry. Like a rivalry that really pushed them to their limits. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just don't, I really don't know who that is right now. Because Queen Zelina and Queen Zelina had the most fire fucking fit of the night. Yo, that gold, bro. And I knew she was going to have a fire fit. I spent a little minute talking about that. But she by far had the best fit of the night for me. And Byron Saxton killed it again with the gold fit. But you got Queen Zelina breaking up with Carmella. You have Liv Morgan and Rhea breaking up, I hope. And Natty, I'm glad they're using Natty on NXT to help build her and another young star now. I like that, in Cora Jade. But so this, to me, made the most logical sense. Now, what I would hope, because to me, these titles haven't felt big since Shayna. Not even since Shayna and Nia. Probably since Bayley and Sasha. But those was the last two great teams that had it. And the problem is, Shayna and Nia never had a great rivalry with anybody, because it was never another team that really stepped up and took that mantle. Was we gonna grow and become a legendary tag team alongside Shayna and Nia? That's why you feel some type of way about Shayna and Nia's reign, not because of how bad they were. They didn't have anybody who stepped up to the challenge to become as great as they were becoming. And when you don't have The Rock don't become The Rock without Stone Cold. Stone Cold don't become Stone Cold without The Rock. You need a dance partner. So Sasha and Naomi need a dance partner. When it was Sasha and Bayley, they didn't have another dance partner. The dance partner was each other, because that was a rivalry that was eventually coming down the line, those two facing off against each other. So I just do not agree. I mean, not that I don't agree. I think that they have to figure out who is the next great women's tag team that will push Naomi and Sasha. Because right now I can see Sasha and Naomi running through a couple tag teams to build up their defenses at first, like the title defenses. But eventually, the championship defenses. But eventually, you got to start to have a great feud develop with it. And I don't know if that feud come from, a tag team in NXT. I don't know if it's a tag team out there that I haven't thought about right now or that's about to form. I don't know. But they have to figure out how to get these two a great right. For one, Naomi and Sasha are unbelievable talent. So you give them a legitimate rivalry with somebody who can build with them. They could become Sasha already going to be known as one of the greatest in-ring competitors of all time. Period. But she also one of the top women's wrestlers of all time. You put this on her resume as one of the greatest women tag team champions of all time. Sasha started to hit crazy different type of legendary territories. So I really hope that, like I said, I agree with the outcome of this match. The right team won because of what those belts need. Not those belts. Those are not belts. Belts hold your pants up. Those championship titles need resuscitation. And Sasha and Naomi are the ones to do it. But you gotta have, because eventually it will happen when they start to become a little bit stale. But it won't be because of them. It'll be because of the competition is too stale around them. And when they start lapping the competition and nobody else can step up and become a legitimate, constant threat that we believe in and makes them better, then, this reign will end like most of the reigns happen for either men and women's tag team championships. So I expect Naomi and Sasha to become the New Day, the Usos of the women tag team division. but I need to see who will be the dance partner. Like Sasha and Naomi can't be the Usos and the New Day. In a sense, they can be both of them, as they will carry this division like those two did. But they need a dance partner for somebody else can be the Uso to their New Day, or the New Day to their Uso. They have to have that. So I don't know who it is right now. I do think Rhea Ripley could end up being one of the, because Rhea Ripley is ultra talented. I say it all the time. Her and Liv are two of the most directionless characters in WWE, and I still feel that. Rhea Ripley, in my opinion, because there's so many things you could do. Like, Rhea Ripley should be put in Edge's stable, in my opinion. But maybe that's too easy of something to do. I just think that, obviously, and I constantly beat this bush, but you have to figure out how to evolve these characters, bro. Liv Morgan just being a pretty white girl, and Rhea Ripley being a goth chick, as people say, that shit's not working. They have to figure out something new with these characters. That shit that they were was cool in the beginning, but having the same character for this long without any type of evolution in the character, I mean, come on. And Rhea Ripley is ultra talented. I don't quite know how talented Liv Morgan is, but she is gotten better and better. However, I'll keep saying it, she is one of the most directionless characters I have ever seen in wrestling. I just don't think they have any direction for her. It's always start, stop, because they don't know what to do with her. Her character, her character motivations, like, it's, you don't understand what Liv Morgan is except for a pretty white girl. I think that's all people see her as right now. That's all I can see from the comments and shit I see on Twitter. Like, what is Liv Morgan? And in the same breath, what is Rhea Ripley at this point? Like, they have to figure out how to evolve these characters. And I keep saying they have to figure it out. Hey, what's some ideas? I done gave ideas before, but it's so many different things you can do. Hell, Rhea Ripley, the night after after WrestleMania, so the Raw after Mania, she basically nudged Liv Morgan off of her when they lost that match after Raw. You can build off of the fact that Rhea keep, turning on all her tag team partners. I don't know what you do. Well, I could think of a couple things, but I'm not the one paid to do that. Either way, it's multiple new booking. I mean, it's multiple ways that you can build her, and it's also ways that, because it's not just them. She got to do it too. She got to figure out ways to evolve her character. I just think Liv Morgan, I don't quite know completely what she is. Obviously, I don't know what her character is, but Rhea Ripley, to me, seeing Rhea Ripley in the ring for a while now, Rhea Ripley is so very clearly, to me, great. Even the WWE saw her as that. That's why you have her feud with Charlotte early. But now, I'm pretty sure, like me, they think she's a very directionless character right now. And they got to figure that out. Maybe she takes some time off and come back with a revitalized character and some new ideas and whatnot. The one thing I never feel when it's come to taking a break and coming back refreshing is you take a break and you come back, but are you really refreshed, or is it just the crowd haven't seen you in a while? Because then you get back into the same act pretty much, and then, the stillness, it happened faster than it did the last time. So I don't necessarily think a break is what she need. Just some evolution got to start happening, and you don't need a break for that to start happening. And the same with Liv Morgan. I think Liv Morgan is a bit of a more, serious case than Rhea Ripley, because Rhea Ripley can be fixed easily. Like, Rhea Ripley's character can start an evolution. Rhea Ripley she will be fine, I believe. She is directionless, and I don't understand her character right now, but Rhea Ripley, in my opinion, is too good to be like this forever. Liv Morgan, on the other hand, I can see that. I mean, this shit been going on with Liv longer than Rhea been on the main roster, to be completely honest with you. Like, to me, Liv Morgan has been one of the most directionless characters for the entirety of her career since leaving the Riot Squad. Mind you, the Riot Squad made no sense to me. And Rhea Ripley, all these multiple, Liv Morgan with all these multiple start-stop pushes, start-stop runs. Like, her character is just, you can't sit down right now and tell me what the fuck is Liv Morgan's character. You can't. You just think she's a pretty looking white girl. And at some point in time, that can't be, y'all gonna stop thinking that that's enough to sell a character. Like, eventually y'all will get tired of that. Real wrestling fans, that's not enough for them. And so I'm not hating on Liv or nothing like that. I just wish that they would do something, or she would do something. They, as a group, would, figure something out with her character. Cause I want her to be great. I want all these motherfuckers to be great. They put their body on the line doing this shit, man. I want them to be great. Plus, hey, when they are great, wrestling is even better. So that's just my thoughts on that. Next match. Now this is when it get a little bit tricky because I know what the next match was, but I'm not talking about this match next. I'm going to this match last. So we go into that Edge AJ match. The Edge AJ match was a great match, and this match was so disappointing in the end because it was having such a great match, and the way it ended was just like, are you fucking serious? And I don't usually do that because I'm all for booking, and obviously this was what's crazy. This was a match, but the end of the match was dug deep into storytelling, so that was pretty unique. But what do you expect? What do you expect? AJ Styles is not going to go out there and put on a bad match. It's not going to happen. And like I said, hey, this mountain of omnipotence that Edge like to talk about, I got to visit this motherfucker on that mountain. I got to. This shit just... and mind you, Edge's tights was fire. I think these is my favorite wrestling tights Edge done ever worn. He had the mountain of omnipotence going all around it in purple. And the purple looked like a highlight neon type purple. And then he had the hands reaching up to the mountain. Like to say people reaching up to the mountain for him. Like the shit was just so fire. Like Edge's tights was top. He probably wins. Like I'm gonna be dead ass serious with you. Cause Zelina Vega had already in my mind. She was already the winner of Fit of the Night. Cause I was like, oh, there's no way nothing tops this fit. The more and more I looked at Edge's tights, the more and more I was getting closer to saying, you know what? Edge might have had the Fit of the Night for me. That's how fucking much I love Edge's tights. Like, Edge's tights might have been... I damn near considered messaging or trying to tweet Edge like, yo, Edge, bro, what's up with them short? What's up with them tights? You trying to let me get those? Like, I dead ass was ready to tweet that and get no response. Because those tights were unbelievable. Like, when I get big one day and I get to talk to Edge, Mr. Adam Copeland, I got to ask him, can he get me a pair of them? So I can hang up in my wrestling man cave one day. I need those. Because those Mountain of Omnipotence tights was all world. All fucking world. But him and AJ had and I liked AJ's fit too, but it was giving me Carolina Panthers away vibes or home vibes, whatever the white jersey they have. It was giving me those type of vibes. But towards the end of this match, and they was having an unbelievable match, towards the end of it, Damon Priest just popped up out of fucking nowhere. Like, hey, shout out to the cameraman. Because when this motherfucker popped up on the screen, the way he popped up on the screen, I'm like, yo, where the fuck this dude come from? Where the fuck you come from? Like, where the fuck this dude come from? Like, where the fuck this dude come from? But yeah, that's what I was like. Where the fuck this dude come from? So, to the people who hate cursing or hate me cursing, they gonna really hate that section. But yo, I really was wondering where Dame Priest popped up from. That was pretty wild. And I was thinking to myself, I'm not calling this man Damian Priest no more. I don't call him that anyways. For the longest, I just call him Priest. I kind of fuck with Dame Priest, like D-A-M-E Priest. I'm not calling him Damian Priest or Damon Priest. I'm either calling that man Priest or Dame Priest. I think they should probably cut it short to Priest. That's probably what will end up happening. But I'm not mad at Dame Priest, big dog. I'm really not. But yeah, he joined Edge on the Mountain of Omnipotence at WrestleMania, and I'm not mad at him for that, honestly. Because like I said, Edge talk about this Mountain of Omnipotence so much, I want to fucking take a trip there. Dead ass. Like, Edge gotta get me gotta get me signed up for one of these trips to the Mountain of Omnipotence. Now I know you gotta be somebody to be a somebody to be a somebody to get on that mountain. But Edge, I'm one of them hands that's reaching up, my guy. I'm trying to take a trip to the Mountain of Omnipotence. I mean, he talk about it so much. I mean, shout out to AJ. You lucky son bitch. Edge came down from his Mountain of Omnipotence to challenge you, to fight you, bro. You really should have showed him some type of gratitude. You tried to whoop his ass all night. And I love AJ. We them country boys. You know, ain't nobody breaking this redneck. That's my guy. That's my guy. But I mean, Edge did come down from his mountain of omnipotence, you know, to basically acknowledge you. And to beat you 1, 2, 3, basically. Because he hit you with a spear out in mid-air when you was trying to go for the phenomenal forearm. Mind you, Edge jumped out of a fucking Styles Clash. And that blew my fucking mind. Because I dead-ass thought that this match was over after that Styles Clash got hit. Dead-ass. Mind you, the Styles Clash just does not get used enough. And it's because I think some people don't know how to take the Styles Clash. Like, they'll land on their necks when they don't know how to take it. Like, I know a lot of people will blame AJ for it, but no, and AJ will blame himself too, but it's not on AJ. You got to know how to take that shit. Now, it's different if AJ actually fucked the move up. But most of the time, AJ, I'm looking at him secure the move in, and before he do it, you gotta just tilt your head out, bro. And he do it at the way he do it give you ample amounts of time to pull your head out to take the move. So it's weird that I hate that he ain't allowed to perform it as much. But I love it when he pulled that sumbitch out. And when Edge jumped out of that shit, I was like, wait a minute. What the fuck is he drinking on that mountain? I'm telling you, yo, if you haven't been thinking about joining Edge on that mountain of omnipotence, bro, you gotta catch that first class flight. I'm trying to get there. And personally, I'm not gonna be disrespectful to Edge for not sending me that invite because he don't know who I am. But I'm just saying, Edge, if you a man of the people, and I'm not a person who was like, oh, you gotta be a man of the people. No. But listen, Edge, what I am saying is this. Fuck them fans, man. I'm trying to go to the mountain of omnipotence, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to drink the juices of the gods. Well, pause, because that sounded... Pause. I'm trying to drink the Kool-Aid that's on the... Unless it's like that Mike Jones shit. I mean, that Jim Jones shit where they poisoned the... which really wasn't Kool-Aid. It was Flavor-Aid. That nasty shit. I'm trying to drink from the fountain on the mountain of omnipotence, Edge. That's all I'm saying. But the next match... Well, the main event of WrestleMania Night 2... was I don't know how I'm stumbling on this, was Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Now, listen, I appreciated this match. I liked this match. I told you who was going to win this match, and I knew what this match was here for. I will say this, though, because I can't help it, because I actually thought this while I was watching the match, and I hated that I thought this from watching the match, but it wasn't because I done heard people bitch about this for multiple times. It was just personally what I was expecting and what I got. So, I love Roman. I obviously love Brock Lesnar. They could have this match 1,000 times. Don't really care. I did wish, after seeing how crazy WrestleMania 38 was, like how absolutely unbelievable the entirety of the show was, I do kind of wish they had a different type of match. Which is why I wish the match was probably anything goes match, where they could have used chairs, tables, and all that. This did end up ultimately becoming a Superman punch spear F5 suplex fight, as it is most of the times when they fight. And I just think, I'm not asking that they, and I don't blame Roman, obviously, because Roman Reigns does not do that in most of his fights. He's not just hitting you with 2 moves throughout his fights. But what I would say is, if you knew that this was the limit of what Brock was going to do in his fight, like he wasn't pulling out nothing new or he wasn't pulling out no other moves, I do wish they had because this was the main event, but the next match I'm finna talk about, to me, should have been the main event to end the show. But that's only because I felt like, as much as I don't want to say it, because I don't want to feel like I'm shitting on it, because I enjoyed the match and everything, I just do agree that this match was pretty much a rerun of the matches they've had before. And I don't care about them having multiple matches, because you build rivalries and great rivalries by always fighting each other. However, the fact that Brock haven't changed his game up from F5 suplex, and listen, it make you the money, so I'm not mad at you, but I did wish that they had made this a match where other things could have been used, so that it could have didn't feel like it was just those moves being hit. Even if ultimately it was just that, throwing some chair shots in there, a bomb through a table or something, like, I don't understand why. It's so wild. If you use Brock Lesnar on the 2K game, after you done, bro, his move set on the 2K game is not just F5s and suplexes. That's what's crazy. He do so many moves on the 2K game that I never see him do in real life no more. Like not a Batista bomb per se, but a different type of, front sit down power bomb or something, like a suplex, like not a suplex, like a belly to belly or back. Now he did do a belly to belly suplex in it, so I gotta give him credit for that. But to me, it's other things Brock could do in this match that could have made this match even better, but he didn't, and I'm not mad at him for it. I'm just saying, this to me was probably the last match between Roman and Brock for a while. This was a unification match. I do wish just a little bit Brock had thrown us something else, but I'm not mad at it. Ultimately, to me, it was a great match. To me, this was the passing of the baddest motherfucker on the planet type of match, because it was more than just titles on the line. And shout out to our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, man. Now he just waiting for Dwayne to come beat him. And that's what I'm calling you until you come back, you son of a bitch. I'm sorry, Dwayne, but you see, I still called you Dwayne. Now the match of the night, bro. The match of the night, the segment of the night, the segment of Mania, whatever you want to call it. You can call me a Pat McAfee sip. You can call me a Pat McAfee fanboy. You know what I'm saying? When motherfuckers come up to me and be like, you a Steph Curry stan, I'm like, I don't say outlandish shit, but I'll be a Steph Curry fan because I do love that man. Well, listen, Pat McAfee is that guy. And I told y'all going into this, believe in Pat McAfee. He not gonna get in this moment and not work his ass off to be in this moment. He respect wrestling too much. He done been a fan his entire life. He see how other celebrities, other big name people get into these rings and make it look bad, and they don't make it look like they didn't really try, put in the effort, and it's terrible. I knew that wasn't gonna be it for Pat McAfee. I knew that wasn't gonna be what Pat did, because Pat cared too much. He too hard a worker. He care about this thing too much. This means something to him. And when it means something to you, like the beginning of the videos say on the channels, like Aaron Donald says, if it means something to you, it's got to mean something to you. And because it means something to Pat, I knew he was going to go out there and ball out. I knew he was going to go out. And shout out to fucking Michael Cole, who just amplified this fight, because you just knew Michael Cole was in this. One of his real life best friends. You just knew he was here for Pat. He wanted this moment for Pat as bad as Pat wanted this moment for himself. When you see a real brotherhood, a real relationship, even if it was two women, a real sisterhood, you just love to see shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what the world really needs, is more love. Take my hand, take my whole life too, 'cause I can't help falling in love with you. Hey, bro, don't copyright me, bro. I don't even. But that's what we need, bro. Everybody need it. What's love got to do? But that's really what we need, is love. It is fuck that. Listen. This fucking, bro. The Kevin Owens Stone Cold segment, this fucking, and I told you, Kevin Owens lived the fucking dream. Kevin Owens is that guy too. Just the Ezekiel stuff like that. Kevin Owens is fucking hilarious, yo. KO just gets it. KO just gets it. Oh, before I get into the Pat review, the New Day did lose in like 5 minutes. They legitimately had a SmackDown type of match. I'm not going over that, but I do appreciate the New Day wearing the singlets for Big E. That was fire. And after that, it was garbage from that moment on. I wasn't happy about that. I'm not gonna lie. But Pat and Austin Theory, what a fuck. And I always, give credit to Austin Theory because I just don't know who else could be put in this role that he is in and do what he is doing. I really don't. Because Drew McIntyre was sort of in this role before, and he did not swim. He sunk. Austin Theory is killing this role right now. Like, I don't know if people realize how truly good Austin Theory is right now. Like, he is fucking killing it. But this was a great match. Obviously, the crowd popped when Pat hit the little backflip off the top rope. I didn't see Pat do that against Adam Cole, but obviously, Yao, I know a lot of people don't watch the NXT takeovers back when that happened. But either way, Pat went out there and had a performance. He and Austin Theory. Now, Pat ended up winning with the backwoods. He stole that from Austin, from my boy Xavier Woods. If you didn't know, it's not called a roll up when he do it. It's called the backwoods. Mind you, fire ass name. Not to mention, not only is it fire, I'm gonna tell you how much of a wrestling fan I am, bruh. I am a pothead who used to smoke backwoods on a regular. I just stopped smoking backwoods because I felt like the price wasn't matching the quality. And anytime the quality ain't matching the high price, then that's a no for me, dog. So I had to find different leaves. But I didn't even think of the fact that backwoods was a leaf for blunts is when he said it. I legitimately only thought of the fact that it was the backwoods, like a back roll up in this woods. Xavier was like, I didn't think of backwoods, and I'm a pothead and didn't think of that. So, excuse me. Shout out to me. But Pat ended up winning this match, and then he started doing a little thing with Vince, and Vince had a fucking match. So you got Vince McMahon having a match, you got Stone Cold having his new official last match. I mean, what the fuck it's 2022, bro, starting. It's fucking crazy. WWE wrestling is the best fucking. WWE superstars are amazing. Like, this whole fucking segment was fucking wild. Like, you got McMahon taking that little cheap win over Pat after Pat got his nuts ran into the post by Austin Theory. And then out of nowhere, when McMahon standing there like he this shit, what happened next? Who? What happened next? What? The glass broke. The glass shattered. Do we say did the glass broke or did it shatter? Which one are we saying? Which one? It don't really make a difference to me, but if it make a difference to big Stone Cold fans in the wrestling community, I actually do want to get that one right. Like, usually I don't care about what fans be saying, but I do want to, get that term right. But either way, Stone Cold come out. He give Vince McMahon. He tried to give Vince McMahon a stunner. Shout out to the video department who edited that shit the next night to make it look smooth as shit. They was basically like, it don't matter, Vince. We got you. You pay us the big bucks for a reason, big dog. And we got you. And then Austin Theory ends up taking a stunner. And I thought to myself, man, this might be the best stunner sale. And Pat said, hold my nuts. Pat McAfee, after celebrating with Stone Cold going up there. Like I said, this was just a night of dreams. Just motherfuckers, a weekend full of dreams being made. Like Pat McAfee getting to drink a beer with Stone Cold in the middle of a fucking WWE ring at WrestleMania. Are you fucking serious? It's a joke. This is what is life. I couldn't imagine. Like, and then for him to have one of the most epic, legendary Stone Cold stunner sales of all time. He get hit with the stunner, and he hit the beer geyser on his way down. Like, Pat McAfee just fucking gets it. And when you have a guy like that who just love wrestling, who just gets it, it's hard not to like him and cheer for him. And he had that motherfucking place rocking. Like, I would dare say he probably got the second loudest reaction out of Stone Cold. Like, he came out to the Seven Nation Army. Boom, 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 boom. Do 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 do. Oh, 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 oh. I don't know what's coming over me, bro. I done had a lot of blunts tonight. But listen, Pat, it was a part during this match where the crowd, to get Pat back into the match, you know, when they get somebody in the match, they usually cheer that person like, New Day rocks. New Day rocks. Or, what's the Uso shit? Ooh, so! Like, you know, whatever they do to get people back in matches. For Pat to get him back into the match, they start doing, oh, 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 oh. Yeah, bro, I gotta chill, bro. Dead ass, I gotta chill. But listen, bro, that was lit how they got Pat back into the match like that, yo. I was feeling that shit. I was like, yo, this crowd really fuck with Pat. And I was vibing the whole time through that match. Like, I was popping for Pat. I really wanted Pat to win. Pause. I really wanted Pat. Popping for Pat. Pause, dog. I really wanted Pat to win that, though, man. Dead ass. And my guy got that win. Like I said, that L against Vince don't count, bro. I'm going to stop calling him that because that wasn't no L. That shit was that. Nah, Vince a hoe for that. Vince, bro, one of the biggest haters you ever going to find. Yo, Malcolm Bivens got to talk to Vince about that hating ass move right there because my boy. But listen, all in all, WrestleMania 38 was a banger, cuz. A banger. And I'm not mad at Roman for, listen, we got to get into this. Best match on the WrestleMania card to me. And just because I think this is the best match don't mean that that's a shot at none of the other matches. Because I saw people going at people who didn't have their, like, if you didn't choose this as the best match, people was going at you. I mean, God forbid you think that Charlotte and Ronda Rousey had a great match. I mean, God forbid. But with that being said, to me, the match of the night, or the match of the 2-night event, was so very clearly, for me at least. But I'm not mad if somebody chose something else. But for me, the match of the night, the match of WrestleMania 38, definitely Becky Lynch. No, my bad. Big Time Bex taking on Bianca Future Goat Belair. Unbelievable match. I think that's Becky's greatest match of her career. For Bianca, another banger. Another one. So, just an unbelievable night. The fit of WrestleMania 38 is going to two different people. Actually, it's going to one person. I was going to give it to Zelina Vega, but the simple fact that Byron Saxton murked the first night and murked the second night, yeah, Byron Saxton going to get best fit of WrestleMania, best dressed of WrestleMania 38. I saw how Pat was talking about, and y'all think these fits don't matter, but on WrestleMania they do, because Pat even talked about it on his show, how he said, you know, WrestleMania 5, my fit, and she said, I got you. So shout out to the fucking ring announcer, yo, the fucking ring. I'm glad I thought about that. The woman who I cannot remember her name for some reason, but yo, she murked the game. She fucking killed it with the announcing. Like, I dead ass was like, yo, this is Bruce Buffer levels great right now. Like, she brought her fucking WrestleMania mind state. Like, she was dead ass in WrestleMania mode all night. Mamba mentality, respect to her. But so Byron Saxton was best dressed. The match at WrestleMania 38 for me was was Big Time Bex and Bianca. What's some of the other awards? Surprise win of the night for me, I would probably have to give it to, who shocked me the most with they win? I probably have to say that the biggest shock win, at least to me, of the whole night was I just forgot this motherfucker's name that quick. Edge. Because I actually thought AJ was I fully expected AJ to win that match. So that was basically the shock of the night for me as far as win. Best spot of the night, I would say, is the Pat McAfee Stone Cold Stunner turning into a beer geyser. Easily was the best spot of the night for me. Best spot of Mania for me. The best commentator at Mania, It's hard for me to decide, but I'm ultimately gonna give it to, because I think every commentator had their moments. Pat. I think Michael Cole and Byron Saxton absolutely murked it during the Pat McAfee match. Like, Byron Saxton and Michael Cole both went off that match. Like, some of their best work. Ultimately, I think I'm going to give it to Corey Graves, though, because of how legendary to me his commentary was for the Cody Rhodes-Seth Rollins match. His lines, his one-liners, and his commentary throughout the entirety of that match made Cody Rhodes feel bigger to me. And I don't know if this was commentary that just wasn't happening for Cody in the past. I don't know. But Corey Graves, out of all the big commentary moments of the night of Mania for me, to me that was probably the best. And it was hard because it was very close between that match for Corey and the Pat McAfee match and segment with Michael Cole and Byron Saxton. Like, it was close. But ultimately, like, the son of a plumber, Dusty's baby boy, like, all the shit that Corey Graves was saying to me, when I go back and watch that match, I can't watch it without hearing his commentary. And I feel the same way about the other two in that match, but I'm just going to slightly give it to, and it's hard because I really want to give it a tie, but I ain't no bitch. So I got to pick a winner. And if I'm picking one, I got to go with Corey's. And I might even prefer to watch, the Pat McAfee segment more so, because I done watched him getting a stunner about 1 million times at this point. But I'm going to get that award for the best commentary of the night to Big Dog Corey Graves. The wrestler that had the best performance of the night. So it wasn't the best match. You didn't have to have the best match of the night. Just what wrestler had the best performance of the night. And that go to my guy KO. KO is so great at what he does. He is so great at what he does. And he made Stone Cold, who doesn't need anybody to help him make him feel big, he made Stone Cold feel even bigger. That whole segment, that whole moment, I think Kevin Owens never get that, enough credit, because I don't think you could stop giving him credit, to be honest with you, for how unbelievably great he is. Like, what he is doing on Monday Night Raw right now with the comedic relief and the comedic timing of Kevin Owens, just ungodly. Like, to me, Kevin Owens was definitely, to me, he had the performance of the night. My MVP of WrestleMania 38 as a whole. And this combined a couple things. So you might say, who had the performance of the night? Ain't that the same as MVP? No. That's not the same as MVP. MVP it's hard to win this award because it's easy to win it if you perform on both nights. That gives you a better shot at winning it if you on both shows. But if Bianca could have got MVP, Charlotte could have got MVP, Bex could have got MVP, but MVP of WrestleMania 38. And this one actually did not come down like to the wire. This was an easy one. Was Stone Cold fucking Steve Austin. It's no fucking way y'all thought I was giving MVP to nobody else but Stone fucking Cold Steve Austin. Right? It's no way you thought that was going to somebody. I legitimately said if you on both nights, it would help greatly. Motherfucker was on both nights and had big segments. There's no shot you thought I was giving that to somebody else. Stone Cold wrestled a match and came back the second night. It's no fucking way you thought I was giving that to somebody else. So shout out to Stone Cold Steve Austin, man. Now, the people who was in the running, like, second and whatnot don't matter, so I'm not going to tell you who was in second, third, and all that shit. To me, that's disrespectful. I'll just let you know that Charlotte was close to winning it because I just think the way you can carry what Charlotte is asked to do, to me, it would just be hard for a lot of other people to do it. You're asking her to have a great match with Ronda Rousey, who is not on the level of a Charlotte, a Bex, a Bianca, a Sasha, a Bayley, a Naomi, an Asuka. She ain't on the level of these top women. And Charlotte still went out there and led the dance and had a great one. It's a lot of fucking respect for that. Bianca and Bex tore the house down. Miz and Cody tore the house down. But Stone Cold was getting that award. So, with that being said, WrestleMania was a fucking banger. I hope next year, I pray next year, I'm going to work for next year to review to be even bigger. Like, one day I want to get to the point where I can host WrestleMania parties with followers and viewers and shit like that one day. Like, just throw a big-ass WrestleMania party with wrestling fans. But the type of wrestling fans I would prefer to have a big party with is wrestling fans. Not, I'm a fan of him. I'm a fan. No. You can be fans of certain people, like those are the ones you like the most, but I need you to like every fan. Like, I'm not finna sit here with people who just, oh, I hate this, why they do this, oh, this is whack, oh, they always do. Yeah, I'm not for that shit. I'm not for that shit. I would basically have to say you're probably gonna have to be a WWE sip, if that's what they want to call us. Because I'm not finna be sitting at watching a WrestleMania, listening to a motherfucker beside me talk about, oh, AEW would have done this better. Motherfucker, AEW couldn't even pray. They couldn't even fathom putting on a show like fucking WrestleMania. You saw Cody kiss the floor. He knew he ain't been to nothing this big in God knows how long. But, like I said, I'm going to work. Because I want this to become big. But WrestleMania 38 was a fucking banger. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Cannot wait till next year come around so we can do this shit again. Cannot wait. That's the beauty of wrestling, one of the greatest forms of entertainment of all time. I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Wrasslin with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. Tell somebody to have a dope fucking day. And while you at it, you might as well go ahead and kick them in the nuts. Give them 2 middle fingers. And give them a stone cold stunner. What? Saint out, baby. Saint out.
Hey, right out. Got my niggas in the bag blowing white out. We gon' bump this shit real deep into the night out. Keep it 199, just ain't my style. Sing the time, staring out the window of the night route. They never ever understood for the most part. Hey, wonder how them niggas treated Mozart. Hey, did they try to put him on the Zoloft? Oh nah, I was penalized for being too alive. 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 I was